Everyone, I'm Tanya Morrow, Chair of the RBTV Board, and I'm going to call our regular meeting of Wednesday, April 24th. Hello there, 2024 to order. It looks like we're gathering all of our board members, but Lou, would you go ahead and call us to order or give us a roll call, please?
Sure.
See who's here.
Denise Kraus,
Here.
Bill Mansfield,
Here.
Tanya Morrow,
Here.
Don Stone,
Here.
Jenna Marmon, Dan Davis,
Here.
Carl Nair.
Here.
There's one.
All right. Any additions, corrections, any comments on the minutes from the March 27th meeting? We didn't do any minutes from our work study session, right? Yeah.
Not yet.
All right. All right. Seeing none, those should be deemed approved, and everybody's received the financial reports. Anybody has not received the financial reports? Everybody's received the financial reports. Okay. Moving on to new business. We've got 2 applications for renewal to appointment to the RBTV's Accessible Working Group, George Adams and Stan Luttrell. The applications were in your packets. Anybody have any comments, thoughts, or questions about that?
Madam Chair, if I may, I want to thank both of these applicants because they have served us many years over and over in different capacities. As you know, Stan Luttrell served on our board of directors for many years, and George Adams has been responsible for our STF and now the Accessible Working Group. And recently, George worked with United Way to put charging ports for people with disabilities and wheelchairs all over the valley, over 100 of them. So they're very active in our community, and I just want to thank both of them for the hard work that they have done over the years and also for their continued support of RBTV. So on behalf of our staff, we would like to recommend.
Approval.
All right. We shall honor them with another volunteer term. Thank you guys for serving. Any further discussion or thoughts? All right, let's go ahead with the roll call.
I had a comment. I have worked with George in my capacity at the city quite a bit on ADA issues, and does, as Julie said, he does a lot for the community and is a really great ADA advocate, and happy that he's willing to continue serving.
Great, thanks. Okay.
Denise Kraus,
Yes.
Bill Mansfield,
Yes.
Tanya Morrow.
Yes.
Don Stone,
Yes.
Dan Davis,
Yes.
and Carl Nair.
Yes.
6 yes votes, motion passed.
Thank you. All right. We are moving on to what is published on our agenda is item B, resolution 2306, updating our equal employment opportunity program.
Again, I'll
Present on
speak
that.
to you.
All right.
First, I want to apologize to the board for getting this to you in the late hour that you received it. This is our program that we've had since 2019, when RBTV actually increased our staff past 100 employees. We had to put a plan in place through under the FTA's requirements for us to continue receiving federal funds. With that said, I don't know if you would like me to go through the plan and read it, or if you would like me to talk to you about what the changes are. The updates. So this had to be updated in order for us to receive our federal funding. We just got notice that we're going to be receiving an extra
$1 million.
$1 million this year. Well, on top of what we normally get, which, we're really thrilled about. But with that said, our plan was gonna be expiring, and they said in order for you to draw down the money, you have to update your plan before we'll do that. So we thought instead of waiting till the end of May, we would go ahead and get this hammered out. So I'll talk about the changes. There's, two changes in our goals. And it says the Rogue Valley Transportation District, this is on page 9, currently employs workers in 7 of the 9 EEO EEO1 job categories. Due to the underutilization of females in job groups 2, 5, 6, and 8, and an underutilization of minorities in job groups 1.2 and 6, as noted in the chart above, RVTD has set the following goals. So these two goals, goal number 1 is RVTD has established a goal for increasing female incumbency in the following EEO job groups in the professionals to 58.4%. And presently, I believe we're at 50%. And then in job group 5, administrative support workers, we're going to increase it to 78.4%, and we're currently at 66%. Craft workers, which is our, hold on, I know this, mechanics. I don't know why they're called craft workers, but they're called craft workers. It's 5.6 presently, and we want to increase it to 5.6. It's presently at 0%. And then laborers and helpers, 18.1 is our goal, and it's presently at 0. So we have some work to do to increase that goal of women in the industry. And again, it's difficult sometimes because women in some of these jobs, especially in the mechanics field, it's just even hard to find mechanics overall. And so to find women is going to be a little bit of a challenge for us, but we keep working with the community colleges, our local community colleges, and also other groups to try to increase that goal number. And then the second goal that we need to address is RVT established a goal for increasing minority incumbency in the following EEO job groups. And 1.2, which is our first and mid-level officers and managers, to 5.9, and presently it's at 0. And then the craft workers, again, in job group 6, we're increasing the goal to 12.4, and it's presently 0. So again, we have a little bit of work to do, but this really comes down to, if we're doing everything that we say we're doing in this policy, which we are, as far as recruitment, as far as not discriminating against people, hopefully we'll be able to meet those goals. But it is a challenge because you're depending on the workforce and their ability to apply for the position. So that's the changes.
Just of the changes? Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Carl?
Yeah, I was just curious, Julie, how you came up with these, because I guess, job groups 2 and 5, it sounds like we already have fairly high percentages of females. We want to increase those, and 6 and 8 we have low. Is that just the nature of the jobs and who's, like you said, the workforce that's available? So we want to have higher percentages in the groups that we're able to find females to fill and to make up for those others, or?
Right. So presently we take our information from the consensus and we looked at Jackson County and the availability of people in those job groups and looking at what the percentage of availability is versus what is actually hired here. And so that's what we base our goals off of. It's just, again, it's a little bit difficult because we have quite a few women in management. Yes, we rule the world. And, that could change too. I mean, the other thing that we have to really think about as this plan moves forward is we also have people retiring, and we'll have to be looking at that as we do all of our management. We have a big turnover of managers, senior managers in the future that are all women. So when you're doing your recruitment for that, you're going to have to take that into consideration because we're carrying the goal right now. And if you want to take it even higher. The other piece is the minority, again, we have been able to hit the mark in some areas. But, you know, we're looking for qualified people for the positions, not necessarily just saying because you're this race or because you're a woman, you will be considered for the job. All of those are factored into, we consider every person that is qualified, eligible for the job. So it's just something to keep in mind. These goals we set through the federal government, they are not hard and fast. We don't get dinged if we don't make our goal, but they want to make sure that we're making conscious efforts towards that kind of hiring practice, and RBTV does that.
Don?
Yeah, I just got this and just was scanning through it, but I didn't see anything in here for training programs. And when you're attempting to increase participation in various levels, is there a training program in place, or is it just sort of catch as catch can?
Well, it has been catch as catch can. There has not been training programs available. I think that as we make a move as a district to consider what fuel types we are, that may change. So when you're looking at, I'll just throw out, let's say we're going to go to electrification or hydrogen. We're going to have a specialized workforce to be able to work on those vehicles. And so we will be looking at workforce development through different agencies. There is a federal agency that's working diligently with the transit industry to try to build up that workforce presently. Of course, you can always, the same thing goes with trucking or the CDL drivers. So right now we're working with the trucking industry in Southern Oregon and the workforce partners to actually try to diversify that. Just recently, there was an Oregon, we passed a temporary rule, the commission did, to allow people with CDLs coming from the state of Mexico or foreign countries that hold CDLs to be able to be grandfathered into the system and taught our system and work for us with, and so that is a possibility for drivers.
Right, any other questions?
The only other question that I have is in scanning through to the back appendices. I noted that exempt employees, meaning the managers, are all listed in hourly rates. And that sort of surprised me because typically managers, exempt employees are not listed as hourly.
They are salaried employees. We list them as hourly so that we have an equivalency to look at what the hourly rate is when you're being competitive with other agencies. And so we actually, this is a public document that goes out to many different people that pay differently. All of these really are, they are all exempt, they are all salary, and the hourly just shows it. I think that there is a place also, Dawn, in the policy that shows their salaries. It is on page.
A couple footnoted on the chart on page 35.
On 22. And yes, our employees are well paid.
Okay.
All right. Any further questions, any discussion? Well, I guess I should ask for a motion. Anybody want to move that we adopt the amendments to the Equal Employment Opportunity Program and the program itself?
Madam Chair, the resolution 2306.
Oh, thank you.
Would do that.
I reckon. Anybody want to move adoption of resolution 2306? No, thank you. All right, okay, let's do roll call.
Okay.
traditional.
Denise Kraus?
She's muted.
You can shake your head.
Or
We'll
give
speak
us,
for
sorry.
you.
Or yes.
Bill Mansfield?
Yes.
Tony Morrow?
Yes,
John Stone?
Yes,
Ken Davis?
Yes.
Carl McNair?
Yes.
6 yes votes, motion passed.
thank you. All right, we are adding, to our agenda, it's already been added to the one I just picked up tonight, but, to the ones that were sent out earlier, agenda items 5C under new business, if there's no objections. And that's to consider a motion to approve amendments to our discretionary leave and vacation buyout policies. And you're gonna,
I am, you sometimes
We're
care
gonna
once
do.
again, we get to listen to me all night. We added this, and I want to give you understanding why we're making changes. We've had, with the Oregon paid law, on, that is available for employees, we've seen an extreme amount of people going out on leave and using their Oregon paid leave, which is great, that's what it's there for. But in addition to that, a lot of times they need to be out longer than 12 weeks. And so in the past, if they've been out on a medical leave, they can ask other employees to donate time, their discretionary time to them. It has caused a little bit of a problem within our employees because we've seen employees feel compassionate towards other employees and taking their bank down to zero. And then all of a sudden finding out that they too are ill and they have nothing left to be able to use. And so we had talked with the union about this in the last negotiation, and we were waiting to see the fallouts of paid leave law and how it works. And we all kind of agreed that we wanted to see that people couldn't take it down past 40. That doesn't mean that they can't use the 40 or that they can't get an exception to the 40, because sometimes that cash out means they may have an emergency in their family. They need their discretionary cash out, which we would allow to happen by the general manager allowing that to happen. But we have been seeing an onslaught of people taking their banks down to zero and then having nothing available for themselves. So this is just really protecting them, that to make sure that they still have some time on the books, even though Oregon, on top of paid leave, has the Oregon leave law, which is you can be out 40 hours paid or unpaid. But people really need to have a paycheck. And so we're just creating this rolling factor of asking other employees to bail them out. And so we're trying to slow that down a little bit. So that's what the change is on 1.20, which is everything in red, which is saying that they can't take their bank below 40 hours without prior written approval from the general manager. Unless they're, of course, leaving the district, they get to cash it out to zero. And then the other change was under 2.20 discretionary leave. Everything that was in the policy in red, again, we're trying to get them to understand that they need to be accountable. So the words, leave with pay is available to eligible employees to be used at the employee's discretion. Employees are accountable and responsible for managing their own personal discretionary leave hours to allow for adequate reserves if there is a need to cover vacation, illness, or disability, appointments, emergencies, and other situations that require time off for work. Excuse me. We added that because we really want them to start understanding that they need to be managing this better. They don't seem to be able to do that. And then we added a few other words that they had to put their time into the EWS, which is our time entry program, and then what it could be used for. But the biggest thing was employees who wish to donate discretionary leave time to another employee who has exhausted their personal discretionary leave due to an extended absence may not take it again down to 40 hours. So they can't cash out their discretionary below 40, and they can't donate below 40. So those are the two changes in policy. They can use it for leave. Yeah, they can use it anytime for leave, for what it's meant to be.
All right, any questions? All right, I'll entertain a motion.
Carl's got a hand up.
Oh, Carl, sorry, thank you.
Notice on the discretionary leave policy at RBTD, do employees just get discretionary leave to cover everything basically? It's not broken
Yes.
up between sick and,
That's correct.
pay.
So that changed changed about 20 years ago when I first came on and on the non-union side, and then we changed it on the union side a couple contracts ago to where it's just discretionary leave.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I assume it goes without saying that the union is fully bought into this.
So we discussed it with the union. We will post this once the board, it is our policies and we have the right because the union contract doesn't even speak to it. We will post it and give a copy to the union. They have 10 days to follow up with if they don't agree with it. But at this point, we did discuss it during the last negotiations. We're just now implementing it.
Good questions. Okay.
I have one other, sorry. Well, this is more just a comment, some food for thought. I know the city has a similar vacation buyout policy, but you have to have, I want to say it's like 160 hours in the bank before you're eligible to do a vacation cash out. So
we used to have a
put
policy.
it out there as a comparison. I'm not saying that that's the way it should be.
Right.
I don't want to say that RBTD needs to change to be more like the city. I think it's, but it's 40 hours doesn't seem like a lot to have in reserves if you're cashing out your vacation to me. So
Right. So, and again, it's very rare that people take it to zero, but we just want to make sure that we have these things in place to give them a little bit of a cushion. We used to have a policy that was, you could only cash out when you were going on vacation. So if you were going and you had to take 40 hours and you were allowed to only cash out 40 hours. But then people started realizing that there's things that called life, where sometimes people wanted to use their time to actually bail themselves out of a financial situation that they've gotten themselves into. And so that's where it got a little bit more lenient over the years. I'm not opposed to going back and talking about some of those things, but we also have employees that carry 400 hours on the books too, that we wish they wouldn't because of the liability of it. So it's really hard to weigh this and figure out the best way. What we're trying to do here again is we've had a couple instances where they've taken it to zero and then have gotten ill. And this was before we had the paid leave laws on the books, and they were without a paycheck. And it really created a hardship. So we're just trying to get them to start thinking a little differently about their banks of time and money and how they use it, making them more responsible.
That's being a question for Denise. Go ahead, Denise.
Yeah, I was just wondering if their leave balance rolls over year to year if they don't take it, or if it resets.
You are allowed to keep 400 hours on the book by union contract and also by our policy. And anything over that you do not use will be taken from you or you have to cash it out. So we only allow them to take the 400, and then of course they keep building throughout the year and adding to the bank. For our managers, we're constantly after them about how much they have in their bank because they don't take time off. And
Got things to do.
we're dealing with that right now.
Who are you looking at? No, sorry.
I can't look at myself unless I cross my eyes.
Okay. All right, can I have a motion to adopt the amendments to the discretionary leave and vacation buyout policy?
so moved.
Yeah, thank you, Bob. Okay. All right, any discussion? No, we'll go to roll call again. Thank you. Lou?
Denise Kraus,
Yes.
okay, Bill Mansfield,
Yes.
Tanya Morrow.
Yes,
Don Stone,
Yes,
Jenna Marmon. Oh, I'm sorry, she's not here. Dan Davis
Yes.
and Carl McNair.
Yes.
6 yes votes, motion passed.
all right.
Thank you, and thank you for the last minute changes. I apologize again. You will be seeing a large policy employee handbook come to you. We're gonna try for July 1 again. We need to update everything. It's just time, and we haven't done it since 2018. So we're just struggling, because the laws have been changing. We've been waiting on that Oregon paid leave, finalize some of their rules, and I don't think they've done it yet, have they?
We just had some changes for Oakland, we'll see some.
So more to come. And then what we will do is we'll give you the employee handbook, redline everything so you can see where the changes are. And then it'll get to you before the meeting, so you have time to look. Thank you. Okay. You ready for my report?
Yes, please.
All right, I'll make this painless. I want to remind all of you that there is a budget meeting, May 21st at 5:30 p.m. And that's our first budget meeting. The staff just recently worked with our finance manager, Silver, and we got a balanced budget for you. So she is working through and making sure everything is correct.
Gonna be here.
And it will be here at 5:30 on the 21st, and we will feed you. Oh, don't eat beforehand. I wanted to let you know that we've been having some problems downtown with the Portland Loop. So the 2 bathrooms that we actually put in with the city of Medford's help and urban renewal, we have had some challenges. And the challenges are people are locking themselves in there, like 4 or 5 of them, and sleeping in there and doing drugs and having parties, and they're not being used for restroom facilities like they should. So we did 2 things. One was we piped in classical music very loud. So if you are going to be in the loo, you're going to get educated on classical music. And then the second thing we did was we started locking them after 8 o'clock. So when the last bus rolls out, I believe it's the security, or is it us?
Field supervisor.
Our field supervisors are now locking them. They stayed locked until 6 a.m., I think, when security comes on.
It's.
Or is it
5 a.m.
5 a.m.? 5 a.m. they unlock them so they can be used again for what they're intended. On the weekends, it was a challenge because we're not open on Sunday. So we unlock them on Saturday morning and we leave them unlocked until Monday. And we hope for the best because they like to take all the toilet paper and light it on fire, make fires. They graffiti, they write all over in the inside. It's just a huge challenge, but we think that it's important that there's facilities for people, and I'm not going to let a few bad really disrupt what we're trying to do for everyone. So that's our newest challenge, and that's how we're addressing it, in case you hear anything. The managers and our supervisors have all been selected to go through management training, and we've been doing this in groups. And so the first group has been rolled out, and I'm hearing good things, I think. But we really feel like one of the things I know that I've talked to the board about succession planning, what we want to do in the future. And when I've gone through and looked at succession planning, it's not just your general manager that you're replacing. You have to think about the entire agency as a whole and how you're going to fill those gaps. And so I'm looking at each level and trying to figure out what we need to do to make sure we have the workforce that is trained and able to do the job, and then also identifying where we have holes and where we need to fix things as far as preparing ourselves for the tsunami wave of people leaving. So more to come on that, but we're really taking this serious, because I signed up for 4 more years with the governor, I don't know that I'm signing up for 4 more years here, but we need to take this serious because it will come faster than
Tsunami wave. Did you
Yes.
say tsunami wave?
the
Thank you.
the silver tsunami wave.
Thank you. Okay, I think you and I should meet sometime soon and have a conversation, so.
You don't think it's silver?
Could be silver. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's something that we think about as we talk amongst ourselves and I talk with the managers, you know. We have many of us that are going to retire. That's just the fact. And, you know, I don't want to leave us in a situation where we're scrambling like I see a lot of agencies, and it's happening all over the place. I mean, I get called regularly if I'm interested in a job somewhere else because the CEO's left. So I know it's happening in other agencies other than just here. And, I think Salem's next. Their general manager is going to be leaving in a very short period. He told me a year. So next June, he's planning on being gone. So more to come. And then, let's see what's left on here. Our construction. So we have really big excitement happen this week. We had a 160-foot crane come in to the district. It came down. It was quite I think we have pictures for you. So Matt's going to bring it up.
Here.
Maybe he's going to bring it up. Okay. So this doesn't really do it justice so that crane actually is a truck and so when the guy came down Delta Waters and had to turn on to Crater Lake, he had to wait for like 3 lights because people weren't smart enough to understand that he had to make that corner. But if you can imagine, it doesn't really show the length. Let's see if there's another picture. Do you? Okay,
See if I can go find it here.
there it is.
Yeah,
So
wow.
if you can see all the way out to the end past the yellow, there's an additional, I don't know, what is that, 10 feet,
About 20.
20 feet? That is attached to it. Anyway, that came in and that is lifting the beams for the parking garage. So I think we have pictures of what's,
We're back to the beam, so there's one place.
that beam. There it is. That's up in the air.
It's like-
That's one of the beams that is being put in place for the second story.
Some of them are 75 feet long.
And then they're setting the beams across too. So it's pretty interesting. We're like little kids in a construction zone. We're like, but I went by there today. So if you want to see what it looks like, when you go out, you might go up around the backside of RVTD and around the apartments and come back on the side and you can see it's really taking shape. These pictures don't do it justice because the second level is now, is it second? Yeah, second level is now there.
Yeah, it's about halfway done.
Anyway, so that has been what we were really excited about this week. In addition to that, all of the furniture for downtown. So we made a decision to save money to move all of our furniture from here downtown and then just add some pieces. And then there was a few offices we had to actually buy new pieces because we need to leave some of the stuff here, the existing staff. But everything's been ordered now. They've gotten the painting done in the community room. This little sofa here is gonna go out in the hallway, outside the community room, but it is really taking shape quickly. And I think the date of completion is the end of June,
That's where it's scheduled. Actually, we have a meeting there, is that right?
probably in July. We have to get occupancy first as far as and we also have to get furniture. So here's the meeting room. It's all painted now, and so. Is that right? That's the meeting? room?
Yeah, that's okay. These are pictures from today, actually. So they're just hung in
That's,
all the lighting, that's the hallway to the meeting room. The main entrance, the public side, would be Front Street facing down.
this planning suite. So the one office is up in the, well, it's my right, but I don't know what it is on your screen. Carl, would probably be your right too. So that right there where Matt is pointing is going to be the manager, the planning manager. And then that is a conference room right there for the planning. And then this area that's in front of there is open space that is going to be the rest of the planning staff. So they have cubicle, like a little kind of cubicle area that they'll be all sat in there.
Break.
I don't even know where I'm at. I'm gonna be lost for a long time. Looks like they're getting ready to put the flooring down.
Yeah, they actually started finance today. They're laying floors this week. So.
Okay.
That's just another view of the break room in the other direction.
This will be a break room that's, available for the drivers and the admin staff. So it's starting to come together. It's pretty exciting. And the other thing that we're working on, I'm meeting with Brian Shoturn this week to talk about is we want to make that into a transit hall eventually. And so we're trying to make moves towards, stop the flow of traffic through that area on Front Street, and making it more pedestrian friendly. We'll be parking buses on both sides of the street now. We already have, but we're gonna be taking the entire length of the street, from 8th, 9th, and 10th. So that whole section will now have buses parked there. And, we're really trying to, I know Adam's been working on a grant application. Is there a grant application for that?
Potential one.
For pedestrian beacon flashing light kind of thing to make people aware that there's people crossing the street. So it will become a transit mall area when we get finished with it. And 2 Portland Loos. A partridge in a pear tree. So,
We weren't gonna talk.
and we're
about
gonna
this.
tie that up with a big red bow.
All right. So,
They pleased with what we're doing,
They are.
and including the Portland Roads.
Yes. So the city is really, really pleased because, they have struggled with not having facilities for people. The only facilities were down at Hawthorne Park. These are something that's a little bit, I think, for the downtown area has been a help to the owners of businesses because they were squatting everywhere to use their alcoves for restrooms. And now they actually have a place that they can use and wash their hands, etc. So, but I know the library's talked about putting a couple more across over on the other side. I don't know if they're gonna look at that, but unfortunately the Portland Loo is caught on and now they've jacked the price of it way up there to where I'm not sure people can afford to buy it. So I heard just recently New York City was putting them in Central Park and they were all proud of, they were buying Portland Loos and it was gonna cost them like $350,000 a piece. I went, wow, that took a jump. And I mean, you do have to plumb it and bring in plumbing and all that work. And we were fortunate because the city of Medford in Europe paid for the plumbing and brought all that in for us.
How much did we pay for the
The
Loos?
Loos were 130,000 piece. I think the first one was a little less. It was like 100,000 and then the second one was 130. So there was like a span of about 2 years. That's how much it jumped in cost. They're totally made out of stainless steel.
Are they made in Portland?
They are.
they're not considered transportation facility for purposes of the new statute criminalizing conduct, is that right? It's Medford
yes,
property?
They
Oh,
could,
okay.
well, it's on Medford property, but it is. No, the statute does not cover facilities, it only covers bus.
Buses? No,
Just bus.
doesn't it? Really?
They struck it at the
Oh.
11th hour.
Okay, all righty, that's fine. Okay,
It wasn't fine.
okay.
Okay. We'll go for another run next time.
All right.
That's the chief. That's the music.
What's up, Don? Sorry. What did you say? We didn't hear you.
But I said, who gets to choose the classical music?
I think that, the maintenance guys picked it. I don't know where they picked it from. I wanted to play the song Baby Shark over and over, faster and faster, but I got voted down.
I'd suggest Stravinsky.
I'm not sure what they're playing. I haven't been down there. I don't want to go sit in the loo and find out.
It's a radio channel, right?
Yeah, right now it's just a radio, but they are capable of using the flash drive we can play whatever. So,
Saratoga Springs, New York, at one point was having a major problem with homeless and teenagers congregating downtown. Really, it's a big tourist town. So they did the same thing. They started playing classical music downtown over the loudspeakers, and problem went away.
Which I don't understand because I like it personally.
It may be hard to sleep through, I don't know.
Maybe
Yeah.
just sleep to it, yes.
It's been-
Depending on which classical music it is.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Well,
so-
if it doesn't work, maybe they can play classical for so many minutes and then it can turn into Baby Shark.
Yeah, maybe. We could find something annoying, I'm sure. Let's ask my grandkids. They have a lot of
I have
annoying
no
things.
idea what Baby Shark is,
Yeah.
sorry, but that's
I
okay.
don't
No,
I wanna know.
It's terrible.
we'll send you a link.
So thanks. Okay,
And that's the end of my report.
okay. And no other reports from staff? Any comments or general concerns from the board? None. RV cog,
RVCOG met today, and they're happy to say that they now finally have a financial director. They've been sweating about that for a long time. We also spent two and a half hours, I'm on the budget committee, 2.5 hours, we just finished a little while ago, and the budget was approved by, at least recommended by the committee. That's all I have to say.
good, well, thank you for your service there. NPO report, so once again, RVTD's funding was on the agenda for further discussions. I think where we are is, you let them know what they didn't know, which is that the agreement that we have actually expires in October. I think I got consensus that the fact that we did the last solicitation round, which goes through 2027, that's still set in stone because there's no deficiency on the monies for that program. So hopefully that's not gonna be an issue, and all we gotta do is figure out what, if anything, the MPO is willing to commit going forward, to RVTV, whether it's gonna be 700,000 or maybe it's gonna be $1 million, depends on our advocacy perhaps. But it's gonna get really complicated because what we've been used to doing for so long is actually having two pots of money that we have we set criteria for, and then we ask the jurisdictions to make applications for that money, and then it's scored according to the criteria. Recommendation is made by the TAC to the policy committee, and then we decide, right? Well, at this point, because there's gonna be now a set amount of gas tax dollars coming in, it appears that the jurisdictions are thinking they may wanna just divvy it up per capita or something like that, and no longer have the community essentially regionally looking at all those projects and sort of ranking them in any way. And then on top of that, I heard at the meeting, which is something I don't have a handle on, but it seems like perhaps some of the jurisdictions are now wanting to withdraw maybe their CMAQ money through the 25 through 27 solicitation and actually just go for gas tax funds. I'm not sure, but they were talking about jurisdictions wanting to relinquish projects. So a lot more to come. It's going to be extremely complicated and potentially a little political. So I want you guys to, keep your ears out and make sure you're talking to whomever in support of the community is still supporting RBTD generally through this mechanism, so. I will let you know once, but it's just daunting, and I get a little triggered every time we raise the issue, just because of how difficult it has been over the years to maintain, so. All right, I think that's it for my report. And then no Tradco, so is there anything else at the good of the order?
I don't think so. The RV Act met last time. I think Jenna gave the report. They haven't met since.
No,
then,
right, I
So
think it's this
I
one,
think
May.
that is it.
Dan?
At the beginning of the meeting, you mentioned $1 million and made some stupid wise ass comment. And it went right over my head, even what I said. So what was that? Can you read?
So, sure. So we received 5307, which is a federal allocation of money that is based on population, et cetera. And it's given to us because we are small urban. And typically it's been 3.4 million. And we just got notice that it went to 4.3. So it was 1 million, yeah. duh.
Right
I
about,
can't do the math.
right about 1,950,000.
And so it was increased because they did some tweaking on the federal side of the formula. And we don't know if this is a one-time thing or if this is going to be, we're gonna see an increase every year. We hope so, but more to come. I mean, but it was an increase of money and we were thrilled because we could use it right now.
Part of what they said was that they're finally catching up to the 2010 census and making the adjustments for population on something that happened 23 years ago. So we're hoping that since there was a census in 2020, that the next time we will get an increase will be sooner than 20 years.
Wow. All right.
They're here to help us, you know, from the federal government.
So is that money earmarked for something specific?
It's only operations. So it goes into our operations, which we need.
That's a very, very narrow
5307 funds, we love them, right?
operating only and only certain types of operating. So no preventative maintenance unless we specifically say we're gonna spend probably on preventative.
Which is what our 700,000 goes to, it's from the MPO, it's the maintenance, okay. All right, well, as always, got our work cut out for us to make sure there's plenty of pots of money for us to keep in the work, right?